And we are ready to do some coloring. I've got an image from a wonderful artist, line artist that I found online. Her name, or her screen name, is Jade Dragon. I found her at the DeviantArt site, and I will include her link with our video. This past year, when I was teaching, I got a challenge from one of my students to do some ombre hair, which of course is pretty popular these days. And when I asked her, I was a young student in my class in Indianapolis, and when I asked her what color she was hoping we would try, she thought purple would be good. So we came up with a combination out of our certification and workshop bag that would work for some ombre purple hair. So I'm going to show you how we did that today, and then on Thursday there's going to be a group of, I think, 5 more color combinations that work for ombre hair. But I will get us coloring now. You're going to notice some different things, and I'll talk through them as I go, that I do on this type of hair that I wouldn't do normally. So we're going to start with BV00 to get a base on that upper portion of hair. This particular ombre is going to go from light at the top to dark at the tips. I'm going to use this base color down the majority of the hair, but I'm not going to work it all the way down into the tips of the hair. For this particular hair, I'm not leaving a white highlight. BV23 is next. It's got some more saturation to it, so you've got that gray going. This time I'm working from the tips back up into the middle of the hair. I'll go above those headphones as well, up a little bit into the top portion, so we have some blending that happens, more of a gradual shift from light to dark. But I go from all the tips, even the fringes around her face. BV25 is next, and again I'm working from the tips up again. This is still a base coat. I'm not so much flicking as feathering in this color, but I'm keeping this BV25, the darker shade, into the bottom edges of her hair, so just at the bottom tips of all those pieces, including the fringes again around her face. Now I'm going to start adding that texture. I go back up to the very top of her head, and I'm starting with BV00. This is what I base coated her hair in, but it's going to start giving me the texture that I'm looking for in her hair. And BV02 is next. Again, I'm using the tip of the brush to get those smaller flicks going and get that texture going. With the BV02, I'm also starting to work down into those midtones, so underneath the headphones and down into those darker BV20s, kind of the middle range of her hair. V04 is next. Now this is a really bright color, so it's going to add some more vivid color. Working very vertical with my marker, keeping way up on the tip of that brush nib. Now I'm definitely coming back in and going into those midtones and down into those darker tones. So I'm going further down into the hair where I didn't before with the lighter markers. Now I'm going to do some more flicking, but down into those darker colors. I'm going to start with a V12 on this one, and I'm really just starting at the mid-range now. I didn't do the top of her head with this one, but I'm starting in the mid-range, working my way down and into the tips and the darker portion of her hair. V04 is back again. This time I'm going all the way down into those bottom edges, the darkest portions of her hair. This is actually going to brighten those up a little bit, since it's actually a little bit lighter color. V17 is next. Now this is going to be darker, and I'm using it just in the mid-tone again and down into those darkest areas to add some texture that you can really visibly see now into those darkest areas at the bottom edges of her hair. V99 is is the last color I'm going to use. And now it's super dark, so I want to do it very cautiously. Like anything else, you can always add more, but I'm going to start cautiously at first, and I'm really keeping this into those darkest areas. I'll add 1 or 2 little flicks into the mid-tone areas, like right above the headphones, but mostly this is coming from those very bottom edges up. I'm going back into V17. I realized I had some middle areas that didn't get texture. They had that nice ombre effect, but no texture on them. So I'm going back now with V04, hitting those same areas, kind of that middle and the bottom portion of her hair. And BV23 to keep that nice saturated color going in those lower portions and just to soften some of those edges. So this is what we came up with. We've got this real light at the top working down into dark. It's a series of blue violets and violets, and they will all be showing as I kind of talked you through the process, so hopefully you can see those. But on Thursday when I post all of my other color combinations, I will also post this one, and with it will be all of the colors that I used. So hopefully that sort of made sense. And as I talked you through, you could see what was going on. But a fun variation on hair, something to challenge yourself with and try for something new and different. And just, I hope you have a great time experimenting with color and have a wonderful, colorful week.